Meghan Markle lies regularly, more than most people, about a lot.
Because she lies a lot, it's impossible to talk about every lie in just one video. So I'm going to talk about the most memorable for me. Let me know yours in the comments. And because there are so many, I'm going to split them into 3 categories. The first category is cruel, calculating, and devastating. So play along with me. Let me know in the comments what you think I'm going to include in this category.
Her baby wasn't going to be a prince because of his race. No.
This was the easiest low-rent trick for Meghan to pull, and the most devastating for Queen Elizabeth, who had dedicated her life to the Commonwealth.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
The Queen dedicated her entire life to duty to her people throughout the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, and Meghan and Harry knew how important the Commonwealth was to the Queen. This is why Meghan added Commonwealth flowers to her veil. And they did this to her as her beloved husband was dying. It is cruel, despicable, disgusting behaviour. They were completely aware of the repercussions and the consequences this could have on the Commonwealth when they deliberately lied about skin colour issues. And then once the Queen was dead and buried, Harry finally came out to say that they never even said that to begin with.
Right. Did Meghan ever mention that they were racist?
The Queen did not deserve to go to her grave with this hanging over her head. If they knew that the allegations that they insinuated were not true, that they didn't really believe them, why did they wait until the Queen had gone to her grave in order to sort out this situation? She had worked and dedicated her whole life to public service, and these two couldn't even let her go to her grave in peace. And the only thing that I can conclude, if they came out, if Harry came out and told the truth about this after her death, is that it was cruel and deliberate behaviour not to do it before her death. And Harry is just as much to blame. He's maybe even worse at certain times than Meghan. And don't worry, once I've finished with Meghan, I'll move on to Harry and we'll dissect all of Harry's behaviour. But right now I'm concentrating on Meghan and what Meghan did to Harry's family, to Harry's brother, to Harry's father, to Harry's grandmother. And let's not forget that these people are people. They are a real family. This is not just a business with titles and roles. This is a family with feelings. And they continue to twist the knife and rub salt into the wound with the worldwide "You Will Markle Me" tour of the Commonwealth countries. This brazen hussy, who dedicated 72 days of her life to duty that she constantly complained about, tried to take away over 72 years of dedication from the Queen. And let's not forget that the Commonwealth is linked by the sovereign and not the government. It's a very important, symbolic and unifying role, which is economically and politically important. So important that China would love to take over the Commonwealth. These toddlers with their tantrums could actually trigger real political and economical chaos. Anyway, let's listen to Harry's farewell speech and see what we make of that. Let's see if it sounds like the two of them fled for their lives from this terrible family and country.
The UK is my home and a place that I love. That will never change.
Well, until Netflix give him a huge check and then he'll bash Queen and country.
I watched as you welcomed Meghan with open arms.
You don't say. She was welcomed with open arms? Wow.
We both do everything we can to fly the flag and carry out our roles for this country with pride. Our hope was to continue serving the Queen, the Commonwealth and my military associations, but without public funding. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible.
And that was the last time that Harry publicly spoke the truth. They wanted to be half in, half out, and when the Queen said, "One cannot monetize one's titles," the war began.
That I would step my family back from all I have ever known, to take a step forward into what I hope can be a more peaceful life.
We want privacy! We want privacy!
I was born into this life, and it is a great honour to serve my country and the Queen. It has been our privilege to serve you, and we will continue to lead a life of service. I will always have the utmost respect for my grandmother, my Commander-in-Chief, and I am incredibly grateful to her and the rest of my family for the support they have shown Meghan and I over the last few months.
So, I mean, what more proof do you want? That we just have a couple of toddlers having their tantrum because they didn't get what they wanted. Listen to what he just said. It is not possible that this is the speech that you give when you are running away from a family that has hounded you and your wife to desperation, that have bullied you, that have made your life unbearable because of skin tone and God knows what else. It is just not possible. I'm moving on to the next item in this category, something that is being brought up quite recently, or brought up again quite recently, I should say.
And I haven't really scraped the surface on my experience.
Liar!
This is cruel because it's shining a light on her yet again, instead of on the real victims. Also, not only have the royal family been very open about their own mental health issues, but they have launched mental health campaigns like Heads Together and Shout. As figureheads, when the royal family shine a light on a subject, it brings more awareness. This is one of the reasons why King Charles was public about his cancer diagnosis. When Meghan claims that she couldn't have mental health treatment, this discredits the great work that the royal family actually do. It encourages people not to bother turning to Heads Together or Shout, which can have devastating effects on vulnerable people at their hour of need. This was a calculated attempt to discredit the royal family and to draw the spotlight onto herself. And when Meghan shines the light on herself, it leaves others in the shadows.
So you've got race and mental health were the two sticks to beat the royal family with, both of them now shattered in terms of any evidence.
And finally in this category, we have the name Lilibet. Make it make sense. She gave the Oprah interview bashing the royal family when she was pregnant with Lilibet, and then she names her daughter after the matriarch of said family. So the only thing that makes sense is that this was a calculated swipe at the Queen, and this was something that absolutely devastated the Queen, and this was something that was especially cruel. And when you couple that together with the attack on the Commonwealth that they did via the Oprah interview and the colour of skin comments, it results in elder abuse of Harry's once beloved grandmother. And as I said in my previous video, She Who Must Be Obeyed, we don't have to wonder if the bullying allegations are true. We can see by her behaviour that is hidden in plain sight that they are true. She bullied Harry's grandmother while her husband was dying, and then she bullied the Queen herself while she was dying. and they still won't even let her rest in peace. I mean, thank God that the Queen had already died before the mockumentary came out and tried to rip her beloved Commonwealth to pieces. This woman was at her funeral a few months before, shedding one tear left eye, and then she was undermining her whole legacy and her whole life's work 3 months later on Netflix. And let's not forget, while the tear was streaming down her left eye, she'd already filmed all of this. She knew fine and well what was going to come out. It is cruel, calculating, and devastating. So let me know what else you think should be in this category. And moving swiftly on to my next category of lies that I've called disturbing. So same thing again, play along with me. Let me know in the comments what you think I'm going to put into this category.
No, madam. Your baby did not almost die in a fire while you were on an overseas trip. There was some smoke from a heater, and your son was nowhere near the room.
So I'm grouping together the fire that never was and the N-word about her children. And I'm grouping these together because I find that very concerning that she invents lies about her children. It's just so reminiscent of Munchausen by proxy. I mean, it's disturbing enough that they are never with their children and that they seem to have them locked up in the tower, but to use them as sources for her lies and attention seeking, I wonder just how far she's willing to go. Next, in the disturbing category, her multi-ethnic background. Her ability to adapt her identity to her latest grift highlights how vapid and empty she is. I mean, it explains the shark eyes, but it's definitely disturbing. And finally, for the disturbing category, the dish soap story. Tom Bower investigated and found not only that Vanity Fair couldn't prove her story, but that it had all been embellished by her doting dad. So first of all, as an adult, to continue to believe that 11-year-old Meghan changed the world or single-handedly is one thing, but to continually regurgitate this story, debunked by her own dad, as one of her biggest achievements in life, apart from marrying a prince, of course, the feminist, without embarrassment when we all get second-hand embarrassment from hearing about it, well, it's disturbing. And of course, let me know in the comments what you find to be disturbing. And we're going to swiftly move on to my third and final category, ridiculous. And I have a feeling that the comment section is going to be flooded with this category. So here we go. Let's all have a good old laugh. She didn't know anything about the royal family and they took her passport away. They got married 3 days before the public wedding and Africans danced in the streets.
No, Duchess. The South African actor in the British Lion King production did not tell you that he celebrated your wedding with others in the streets in the way they celebrated Nelson Mandela being freed. No.
She doesn't use social media or read any news articles about herself. The New York car chase.
New York City. Oh, he's getting far.
They just want their privacy.